It's flail mowing time. Just hooked up the flail mower. Everything's in working order. I guess let's get to it. It's been 2 years now since I bought this Betstco brand flail mower. This is the 48-inch cut. The housing or the deck would be 54 inches wide, but it cuts actually at 48 inches. And it requires 22 horse minimum. It doesn't really say PTO horsepower, but that would make more sense. And this tractor comes at 19.5 PTO horsepower. The gearbox is 65 horsepower rated. It's pretty heavy duty. You'll see once we start getting into the thicker stuff. This is just pretty much grassy material. The other thing I like is you can use it as a ballast because it's like 600 pounds and it's really low to the ground, so it's perfect. Starting to get into some heavier stuff. I noticed that I flail mowed this last year and didn't have any thistle, so I don't know where this came from. I mean, it just sprouted out of nowhere. This flail mower has 27-ounce hammer blades, and there's 20 of them. And the rotation is in reverse. So it's actually scooping up material and chopping it up inside the casing or the housing before it dispenses it out the back. I really like this one because it has a roller in the back, and I have this thing set pretty much to the ground, so it's kind of scalping the ground and chopping things as close to the ground as possible so there's no tripping hazards on the trail. I haven't had to sharpen them yet, so we'll see how hard it is to sharpen them. I've actually seen other people sharpen them and it doesn't seem to be that bad. The other thing I like about it is I can cut grass and I can cut brush. So once I have it mounted, there's multiple areas I can go with it, and it really chops up the material. It's running 2 belts. I bought an extra set of belts and I haven't had to use them yet, but when it came, when I pulled the cover off for the belts, I noticed that the belts weren't tight. So I saw a lot of reviews where they were talking about the belts burning up right away. I adjusted the belts and made sure they were tight before I started using it. When I ordered it, I made sure I got an extra set of belts anyway. I just like to have spare parts on hand. So here I lifted it up and backed over the material because it cuts the best when it's on the ground and you drive forward. That's when it mulches everything up the best. As you back up and mulch stuff, you can do that too. You have to go really slow, and then it doesn't seem to mulch it as well. So it's designed to roll forward while you're cutting. That didn't do too bad. Oh. Looks like it did pretty good. I got pretty close to the pond today. always wanted to do this. That way we can get the kayaks in here. Water's pretty low. It hasn't rained, and I mean, it rained last night, but it hasn't been a lot of rain this year, so it's probably about a foot and a half lower than normal. One of these days I'm going to try to figure out if there's any fish in this thing. I may be crazy, but I actually bought this property because of the beaver pond, and I wanted to get out into nature, and I thought, oh, beaver pond. You know, it's got water for the deer, and the deer will just come right up to the side here. Now that I cut this out, they probably still do it anyway, but this will make it easier. Maybe there'll be fish in here. I don't know. I'm just waiting for a bird to drop one in. Haven't seen any yet, but I haven't really cast it out. I just checked how deep it was. Here and there, it's about 10, 15 feet, closer to the dam part. As you can see, that's their den over there. And yes, they are a nuisance. They eat a lot of trees. I guess one beaver, from what I understand, looking it up, can eat 200 trees a year. I mean, I got a lot of trees, but hold on, you probably can't see me. Let me get this thing. A lot of gnats. That's the other thing. When you got water on the property, you got a lot more bugs, gnats, and, you know, mosquitoes and things like that. But they got a pretty good setup. Nice little valley for them. Pretty private, even though I have trespassers that trap them every once in a while, which I don't really care for, but I got them on camera. It's just a matter of figuring out who they are. Well, looks like we hit a little snag. This tree had a root rot, or it's been a dead standing for a while, and just so happens it fell across the trail. I had to go down there, and I'm over here. The good part is I get to play with my chainsaw. Well, this one's kind of funky. But this one's in good shape. I'll finish bucking that up. A little bit more campfire wood. Now we're at the back side of the property, and this is a clip where we cut that path down the side of the hill, and this is what it looks like before everything grew back. So I had already walked it out, making sure there's no boulders or anything, and we're just gonna take it through here now that it's summer, and you can see the difference. But I know there's nothing that's gonna wreck the flail mower, so I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens. We usually use the 460C first in the summertime or wintertime, and then come back with the flail mower. I've been watching John Ritter just go for it, so if he can do it, I think I can too. Luckily I didn't mess anything up. I just took my time. So those orange ribbons are there to keep me on the trail. This way I know at least the right direction, but it's so overgrown that you really can't see them until you're almost on them. So I'm kind of trying to remember where the trail is. So that's another reason why I'm going slow. And the other reason is it gives a flail mower a chance to really mulch up all the brush, since this time around I'm just going over the whole tree instead of just going over the stumps. So I'm just giving it more time to mulch everything up. You can see here I have to use the stump bucket and kind of push stuff down. And I chose to use the stump bucket because it's pretty narrow in here. And the stump bucket actually, it kind of spreads out the trees, and then it kind of helps me see where I'm going, because it'll kind of push the trees out of the way, kind of like a wedge. I know a lot of guys like to put their bucket right on the ground or a couple inches above the ground so that it kind of blocks everything or knocks everything down. But I have already been through here, and most of the stuff is smaller than an inch. Not all of it, but most of it is. So I'm not too worried about running over a stump or anything. I've already walked this out probably 3 or 4 times before I even thought about doing this. Finally, some daylight. It's not as bad right here. There's less trees. You can kind of see now it's back to just brush. There's a little opening here. 15-20 years ago, they had logged this. So this was a skidding trail I think they made, because it was pretty clear in the fall that somebody made a road through here at one time, but it all grew back. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That'll be it for the video. If you like this content, you know what to do. See you on the next one.